What's up guys, Josh from CaliforniaThroughMyLens.com. We're spending the next 3 days exploring and backpacking in Lassen National Park. We're heading out to Lassen National Park right now. We're gonna meet up with our friend Wendy from Wild Beginnings Adventure Company and explore the park over the next 2 days. After arriving in Northern California, we spent the night in Red Bluff and then took the 1-hour drive to Lassen Volcanic National Park. We got there a little early, so we made a few stops before meeting up with Wendy. First was the visitor center. From there, we headed to the most accessible geothermic area in the park, Sulphur Works. Our last stop brought us to my favorite part of the park, Lake Helen. From there, we met up with Wendy, got all the gear situated, and then set out on the hike from Kings Creek Trailhead. Heading out on the Kings Creek Trailhead, we're going to Sifford Lakes. That's where we're camping for the night. The hike to Sifford Lake is about 3 miles each way with a decent amount of elevation gain, but it's a great backcountry camping area with beautiful views and lots of lakes. After setting up camp, I spent the next few hours exploring the area and checking out all the different lakes. These are the lakes. You can see the fall colors are already starting to roll in. We're making this our backcountry campground, so we're just gonna hike in here when we wanna relax, hike back out when we wanna see something else in Lassen National Park. It's just a great way to get off the grid and get away from people in the park. It was too cold to go swimming, but we still took the time to explore all the different lakes around our campsite. One thing that's awesome about setting up a home base in the backcountry is that you can bring way better food than if you had to put on your backpack and go to the next site every day. One of the best things about backpacking with Wild Beginnings is the cooking. This is the Alpine Couscous. Just finished dinner and I'm heading up there to watch the sunset. Actually ended up heading down by the water. Look at this sunset spot. Just finished watching the sun go down, got our hot cocoa, back to camp. That's the end of day 1. Got my coffee. I'm just sitting here watching the sunrise. I don't know about you, but I never sleep in while camping. It's always awesome to get up and watch the sunrise. Breakfast and some hiking.
Pumpkin pancakes for breakfast.
After breakfast, we loaded up our day packs and did the 3 miles back to the car to drive over to the Lassen Peak parking area. Drove over from the campsite, now we're heading out on the trail to Lassen Peak. Lassen Peak is 5 miles round trip going uphill pretty much the entire way, and it takes you to one of the best views in the park. There's a ton of switchbacks on this hike. It was crazy windy the day that we hiked, so I didn't record a lot of audio on this portion of the trip. We just put one foot in front of the other, battled the wind all the way to the top. There was even some late season snow right at the top, as this peak is over 10,000 feet. Just past the snow field, and that is the summit right there. Made it to the summit. It was super windy and cold, so we didn't stay long, but the views were epic. Alright, so we made it back. 2 things to note. First off, Don't underestimate the elevation and the mileage. It looks like it's not a lot, but it's pretty steep the entire way. Second, make sure you're prepared. You're going to a 10,000 foot summit, so make sure you dress warmly and have enough water. That's the peak that we just summited, and this is where we're having lunch. Since Amy doesn't eat meat, she just has a pile of cucumbers. That's what she's eating.
Only cucumbers.
Nothing but cucumbers. As you can see, I have a rock serving my Lunchable, and look at that view. After lunch, we made a quick stop at Upper Meadow for some pictures before starting the hike back to camp. Heading back to our campsite for the night. Rain and possible snow were in the forecast for tonight, so we set up a tarp and got to making dinner. The reason why we're in Lassen National Park this weekend is because we're hanging out with our friend Wendy, who has a guided service called Wild Beginning Adventure Company. She's going to tell you a little bit about it.
Hi guys, I'm Wendy, and yes, I own Wild Beginnings Adventure Company. This business exists to help you experience wilderness. So if you're a first-time backpacker or somebody just wanting to hone in their outdoor living skills, I provide the equipment, you bring yourself with some good hiking boots and clothing, and we make it happen.
There's a storm rolling in, so there's not much of a sunset tonight, but I'm just going to take a few pictures because this lake has become one of my favorites. All right, it's freezing, so back to camp to get in the sleeping bag. End of day 2. Morning day 3, got the coffee flowing. It rained a lot last night though, so everything's pretty wet for packing up. Last breakfast before heading out, hot granola. Goodbye, campsite. It was sad to leave the campsite, but it was nice to have this be our last 3-mile trek back to the road. We made it back to civilization. Everything is all packed up. We are saying goodbye to Wendy.
So good.
Thanks for the awesome time exploring Lassen.
Thanks for joining.
Since we don't get up to the Lassen area as much as we'd like to, we decided to do a few more stops before heading home. This is Manzanita Lake. It's our last stop before leaving the main part of the park. We're gonna do a few more stops, but not in this main area. Manzanita Lake is another famous Lassen viewpoint, and when it's clear and the water is smooth, it has an awesome reflection. Welcome to the subway cave. This is the first stop outside of Lassen. It's the old subway cave at Old Station. Let's go check it out. This is a map of the cave, but as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. There's only one area where there's a little cul-de-sac that doesn't lead to an exit. The entire hike is only about a half mile from the parking lot, but be sure to bring a flashlight.
We made it! On to our last stop. This is our last stop, Burney Falls.
Burney Falls is about 45 minutes north of Manzanita Lake, and if you're in the area and you've never seen it, definitely go and check it out. It's one of my favorite waterfalls, and there's so many amazing views all along the trail. Thanks for exploring Lassen National Park and the surrounding area with us. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out California, 3 Mile, and Stockholm for more.